Hey team, I have a Primavera quick tip video for you related to new project startup. So in this video, we're going to talk about how to create a brand new project in Primavera from scratch, and I'll walk you through the steps on how to do that. So as a brand new user to Primavera, you'll have an introductory screen that looks similar to this one. First step is up on the top under this drop-down menu. We need to go into your assigned workspace to start building projects. So click on the Workspace tab here and go to the workspace that you office out of. I'm going to pick the Duluth workspace for me. When the screen comes up here, you will see some potential projects in here by other people, but click on the Add button on the top left corner and pick project from the list, not proposal, not template, but project. On the add project screen here, you will have some stuff that you have to fill out. First thing would be the name of the project. This would be the client name or the job name for your schedule. I'm going to call this one test project, and I'm going to put in today's date. Unique ID, always get in the habit of changing this to the Gardener Builder's job number that will be used for that job, or possibly the estimate number that will be used for that job. This is a unique ID that's only specific to this project, and it'll help it for sorting and stuff later. So just get in the habit of changing that out. I'm going to type in made up number here. Enter the description for a project if you'd like. You don't need to, but maybe you want to put a quick note in here. Workspace that you'll be working in would have been the workspace that you picked before you started the screen here. It shows that I'm in the Gardener Builder's Duluth workspace. Status of the project, a few different options you can pick from. Most of the time you just can just leave this set to active. When you start a new project, I always want you to create a new project using a template, never just do one from scratch, blank. There are some settings that you need to carry over with you when you start a new project from scratch, and the template is the way that we do that. So always hit the yes button here. This will turn red down here, and it'll want you to click on these three dots to bring up this page. Click on the templates button, and down under active work, Gardener Builders, click on the drop down plus, and you'll see 4 different templates to pick from. There's a couple TI templates, there's a ground up template, and there's a blank template. The blank template simply just doesn't have any tasks in it, but it does have all the phasing and different settings needed. This is a good one for starting up a very unique project or an RFP where you don't want to have all the different things preloaded. So I'm going to start a new project using the blank template for me. The person managing the project by default will always be you. You can assign this to a different person if you know that you're going to be creating this for somebody else, but by default it always will have your name in there. Project start date. Think of this not so much as construction start date, but think of this as when we maybe were awarded the project. Potential pre-con items that reflect this date, such as design development completion or permit acquisition. That's what this date should reflect, not necessarily construction start. You cannot schedule items on your schedule before this date, so make sure that you do have it far enough in the past to absorb whatever you're trying to indicate on your schedule. The calendar that you're going to be using, if you click on these 3 dots here, you'll be a couple different options that you can pick from. Gardener Builders or GB Calendar is the one that we want to use. This one has all of the holidays embedded into it for the next couple of years based on the holidays that we physically take days off for. The 5x8 with holidays is a little bit different, and it does have holidays in there that we don't necessarily in our world take off, but are indicated as a holiday, so we want to make sure we're using the Gardener Builders one. So make sure that shows that here. Project currency, if you've never made a project before, this will ask you for something here. You're just going to want to make sure you pick US dollar. Once you do, it'll never ask you to change that again. Hit the next button. This is a fairly important screen. This is where we bring over all the file structure from the template that you picked. There are three things that we always want to bring over. The three S's on this list. So schedule, settings, and structures. You can populate them on the right-hand side by double-clicking on them. You can click and drag, or you can use these arrows. Just make sure that you have those three things brought over: schedule, settings, and structures. Hit next. This page right here, user and access groups, is where you add in fellow team members to your project. So as a superintendent, if I'm creating this project, I want to make sure I add in, at minimum, my project manager to the team and potentially a PC or another job superintendent who may be watching the job for you. So to add them on, you can start typing in their name. You'll see their name appear in the list here. Again, you can double click and bring them over. You can add multiple people in. So if I want to add a superintendent into mine as well as a PM, I can add them there. You can add as many people as you'd like. They're all people that will have access to this job. Hit the next button. Permission sets is where you grant what permission rights that person has to the job. As the manager of the project, you are considered the admin. Anybody new that you add defaults to view only. You can simply change that by double clicking on the view only and start typing in the word admin. Most of the time, you should be able to just make that person an admin. They'll be able to modify the schedule if they need to in your absence. And you can do that by clicking on there. Hit the next button. This page, companies, we currently don't utilize any part of this until we start bringing in some of our trade partners that we work with on our projects. Right now, we're just going to leave this blank and skip over this. And then the project summary page is kind of your last check, just to make sure that you had everything right, make sure that you added in the team members you wanted, and most importantly, make sure that these three items have been included. You can't put these in here later. If you missed it, you'd have to create the project over again. So just make sure that these are in there before you create your project. Once you've confirmed that that's all good, hit the Add Project button. When this pops up, just hit the OK. It will spit you back out to the main Workspace page where all the projects are listed. And then to get into that project, just find it in the list. You can check it by making sure it's that unique job number that we entered, and click on that hyperlink, and it will bring you into the project.